Another week, another round of news. This week comes with several shockers, as you can no doubt tell from the title, so go grab a beer and nachos ready because this video is either going to give you reason to party or cry in a corner. Let's kickstart this week's news off with some positive information regarding Black Desert Online. In our last news video, we went ahead and reported on Pearl Abyss losing all the data to keep the Russian servers alive. Their deal with GameNet fell through, and they subsequently lost all player data along with the localization files in the process. Now, as of October 17th, in a turn of events that nobody saw coming, Pearl Abyss made a follow-up statement claiming that both Pearl Abyss and the parent company behind GameNet, Verbinal Holdings Limited, had actually developed a legal solution that would ensure any and all player data, including the localization files, would have a successful transfer back over to Pearl Abyss. What this means is that once the transfer process is over, Russian players will be able to log back into the game and continue playing. And while quite the debacle, it is reassuring to Russian players to know that their characters and the money they invested into the game did not go down the drain. Additionally, Black Desert has released a new Archer class trailer ahead of TwitchCon 2018, whetting player appetites with the new male crossbow wielding class. I gotta say, it looks pretty fucking cool, although you can expect another large investment into gearing the character to make them viable. Pearl Abyss, you sure know how to bleed money out of players, don't you? You sneaky little bastard, you. Dynamite Studios, the developers behind the upcoming MMOARPG Fractured, revealed last week that they have expanded their crowdfunding efforts in an attempt to accrue larger financial backing for the game. Dynamite had originally held the Kickstarter earlier this year and raised around $130,000, exceeding the funding required to begin the creative process. Dynamite have since chosen to open up a dedicated store on the official website that will allow current and future supporters to not only contribute to the game, but help fund and shape the future of the game as it continues development. Support comes in the form of various pledge packs ranging from €20 to €300. This equates to roughly $23 for the smallest pack and approximately $440 for the largest. Now, if you thought Revelation Online was all about a memory at this point, yeah, you're pretty much spot on. In an effort to bring in new players and increased activity, My.com have announced the introduction of a new game mode to Revelation Online following the release of their latest update, New Salon. The new game mode in question is called, and I warn you in advance, I'm going to butcher this name, Legends of Numenor, which is being described as a MOBA-themed minigame that will be the primary focus of the update. If you can't guess which MOBA it's based off of, then shame on you. According to My.com, it'll be an innovative new PvP mode inspired by the ever-popular MOBA genre that's going to feel right at home as part of Revelation Online, because Revelation Online was already completely unoriginal to begin with. In Legends of Numenor, players will select from a predetermined roster of NPC heroes with their own unique skills, with support offered from waves of minions. The objective? Destroy the enemy team's crystal. Players will work their way across a symmetrical map split between 3 lanes with the ability to hunt monsters, enemy players, and farm golden XP. Don't ask me why they're attempting to turn Revelation Online in a League of Legends. Just don't. For those of you playing on Gameforge's European servers in an attempt to experience what the new updates for Aion bring with it, your wait is finally over. NCSoft announced on the 24th that the latest major update for the North American version of Aion is receiving the overhaul at last, titled Awakened Legacy. The update really is just far too large to go into accurate detail in one video, but let me summarize it real quick. Awakened Legacy adds a new zone, Lokrom, increases the level cap to level 80, reduces the XP required to level along with vastly overhauling not only the zones in-game, but also the quests along the leveling process, providing an overhauled leveling experience that really changes the game. Simplified character stats, the new dungeons Primarch's Forge, Cubinerk's Cubic Lab, and Infernal Drake-inspired depths have been added, along with various changes being made to current dungeons, and just so much more. You're just gonna have to get in-game to really test this out. Quick note though, my wife Mrs. STIX and I did do a video on this update earlier this month. You should go check that out if you're interested. Now, I felt like this needed a completely separate segment to discuss, but for those of you that have an Xbox One, Black Desert Online has been slated to release for a while now, and they have finally confirmed via email to players exactly when that is. Players on Reddit are reporting that they are receiving notices about the open beta announcement via email, stating that the game is planned to launch into beta testing on November 8th. The open beta will feature the Berserker, the Ranger, Sorceress, Warrior, Witch, and Wizard during the beta, and there is no NDA currently in place to prevent players from sharing or discussing the content. So, mark that date on your calendar. Black Desert is finally hitting consoles. For those of you that still play the superhero-themed MMORPG, this news is going to be of interest to you. In DC Universe Online's latest Atlantis episode, launching November 8th, players are going to be able to take a trip to the underwater city of Atlantis, where you'll have the opportunity to face off against Ocean Master, the villain of the upcoming Aquaman film. Coincidence? I think not, but then again, maybe. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the info I got on DC Universe Online. In sad or happy, depending on which side of the spectrum you're on, news, TRION announced that due to bankruptcy, they would be selling off assets to Gamigo, who will now hold publishing rights to any and all of the games that TRION currently publish. That list includes ArcheAge, Rift, Trove, Defiance 2050, and Atlas Reactor. This news is a little disconcerting, as Gamigo has stated specifically that they have acquired the major assets of TRION Worlds Inc. and not that they have purchased TRION Worlds Inc. This gives Gamigo control over what they want, and that ultimately means that anything they don't, whether that be a game that is no longer profitable for them, such as ArcheAge, Rift, or Defiance, they don't have to keep up. And while I doubt they have plans to shut these games down just yet, Gamigo is known to be the graveyard for MMOs, a final resting place to hang the game up before milking it to death. After looking around, it seems as though there is no large Rift private server around, but for fans of ArcheAge, I would recommend you to try out the ArcheAge private server. It's nothing like TRION made ArcheAge in terms of pay to win. It has a much larger population and is where pretty much everyone is going to be flocking to. The official ArcheAge server has gone down repeatedly for maintenance since the announcement was made, and many players are fuming. The new large update for the game has also been postponed. This is another bad sign, and is surely what is to be expected going into the future. I'm going to be including a link to ArcheAge in the description and pinned comment for fans that want to jump ship while you still can. After heavy criticism, NeoWiz, the team behind the huge bomb of an MMORPG Bless Online, have finally released the game fully and completely free to play. After having made enough money initially launching as a buy-to-play title, NeoWiz thought it was in the player's best interest to give a middle finger to supporters that purchased the game initially with their official launch, which NeoWiz had promised to release the new Mystic class with, and like always, failed to deliver. Instead of providing the Mystic class as promised, NeoWiz instead opted to offer additional DLC packs for players that want to waste their money on the game, providing things like skins, and yeah, nothing really worth noting. Just more of the same cash grab attempts and making as much money as they can. I don't really have much news or really much to offer about Bless Online other than that they launched buy-to-play, were riddled with bugs, duplication issues, class imbalance, and an overall lack of content. Things should have been fixed up since these issues were actually prevalent and ran rampant in every other launch of the game around the globe, but were still somehow overlooked upon our launch. They have now launched completely free-to-play and have failed to deliver on promises made pertaining to the Mystic class, FPS issues, and a general lack of just overall substance, which I guess explains why on a Thursday they had a peak of almost 5,000 players having launched free-to-play, and then on a Saturday, the game has barely peaked above 4,000 players. More than 20% of the player base that tried Bless on a Thursday are no longer playing on the weekend. Yeah, they have essentially just up and bailed on the game already. Well, that about sums up this week in MMO news. We had some excitement in the form of the Russian Bless Online no longer shutting down, the North American Aion catching up to the European version, TRION Shutdown, and more. If you think I missed something in the last week or have something to add for the next video, let me know and I will include it if I remember. Anyway guys, that's it for me. Thanks for watching and I'll see you all next time. Peace. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like, leave a comment, consider subscribing to my channel over here, checking out another video, or following me on Twitter at STIX to just chat or hang out.